we as people, we're pretty defensive when our faults and our flaws gets pointed out, and we don't really want to hear it. But we obviously need to hear feedback in order to know where we can improve, what areas that we need to add on to grow as a person. So how do we mitigate this problem? Well, maybe the solution is as simple as how to phrase your sentences, how to phrase your words. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So evaluation is a huge part of the learning experience here in Toastmasters. Everyone benefits from them. The speaker, from the audience who listens to the evaluators themselves. So, personally speaking, I've seen the change in how people receive my ideas. They're more receptive to how they, whenever I tell an opinion, sometimes that contradicts their opinions, they're more readily acceptable to it. So, case in point, everyone in the club improves from learning to evaluate. But like at the same time, I've said before, we are not really that warm on criticism. So, and especially troubling for people in Toastmasters, speakers, who going up stage and speaking to a wide audience is already scary enough, and then you have the thought behind your head that someone will dissect your speech from positives to negative, all that stuff, and obviously that's even more harrowing than just speaking. So it's important for us in Toastmasters, a platform where people want to learn, people want to be motivated to do speeches and do their best and learn, for evaluators to be able to know how to approach evaluations. So for this topic, this is something that I want to tackle in this presentation, evaluate to motivate. I'll be talking about specifically how to phrase your evaluations, and we'll be talking about it in terms of generally how to approach it, and then move specifically to positives and recommendations. So in terms of generally how to approach evaluations, we need to ask ourselves, what are we there for as evaluators? Are we there to criticize people, to criticize their speeches? Not really. What Toastmasters says when it comes to evaluators is that you are there to support, help, and encourage the speaker. So it's a nice acronym to remember by. So, like I said, it's a really terrifying experience to speak up on stage. And so it's the job of the evaluator, even though we do want to give them feedback for them to improve, we want to make them feel encouraged and motivated for them to do more speeches, to do their best, and to be welcomed out here on stage. A good tip, I would say, is to picture yourselves in the speaker's shoes. Like, how would you want to be spoken to? How would you want to be evaluated? If you would like someone to talk to you, to value you in a certain manner, then it's probably a good idea that you should do it to another person as well. Another thing that you might want to take into consideration is to know the speakers. The thing about speakers, try to tailor your words in the speaker's level or their disposition. For example, if you know the speaker is new or they're pretty sensitive, then maybe you wouldn't want to be very critical of the first time speaker or the really sensitive speaker. You want to take a picture? At the same time, if you know your speaker is pretty experienced or is pretty direct, then maybe sugarcoating or pulling out the punches would not benefit them as much. So these are something that we do want to take into consideration when it comes to evaluations, generally speaking. Now we move on to go in depth in the positive comments. Like I said before, we're here as evaluators to encourage the speakers, so we do need to give them positive comments so they are motivated and they know where their strengths are. One way I would say to make your evaluations encouraging to the speakers is to use descriptive words. Oftentimes I hear evaluators with very vague descriptions. Oh, your speech was good, your voice was good, all that stuff. But to me, well, it's not a bad thing, but it's just that when you are very vague when giving positive feedbacks, it just feels like you're giving compliments for compliment's sake, and it's not a sincere showing of what you think the speaker's strengths are. So being more specific can help the speaker understand that you are being honest with them. And the speaker can also know where their strength lies instead of like really vague nothings as well. So for example, if you want to talk about someone's voice, oh, it's well projected, it's very clear, very limpid, it is very mellifluous, stuff like that. So maybe structure. I think you were very organized, you were very prepared, facial expressions, you were very animated, you were smiling the whole way through. So these are just, so there's so many things that you can do in order to give the speakers specific ideas on what their strengths are. And of course give examples as well to really solidify your use of descriptive words. So at the same time, even though we want to be encouraging, I would personally suggest not overdo it as well. I've seen evaluators, they go all out when it comes to evaluations. Oh, it was perfect. It was the best speech about informative. It was so inspiring, all that stuff. I really loved it. And I think this is a really double-edged sword when it comes to evaluations. For one thing, if I was a speaker, I would probably take it in two ways. One is that I would be given a false sense of achievement, a false sense of self, if I get praised for something I probably didn't deserve, or maybe I would have a false sense of myself. And the second thing could be like I would not really trust the evaluator as much and feel like this is a really unfair evaluation for me, even though I probably know that's not a good job. If the evaluator says all this, then I would feel like they're not respecting me or they're patronizing me as a speaker. And you need to think of it also in terms of the audience as well. If guests, one danger I always feel like I worry so much is that when guests come in and they hear evaluations and everything's so positive, when the speaker probably didn't deserve it much, then it could really count as fake positivity, and that's something that can probably deter the guest because it doesn't look like an honest place to learn. So that's something we want to consider. We want to be encouraging, but not overdo it to the point where it's unrealistic. So now we move on to the meat of the evaluation, the recommendations. This is where the speakers are here mostly there to learn. And we as evaluators need to know how to word these feedback in a way that the speaker can take it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is to avoid using overly negative words. So things like, oh, the speech was bad, you were really quiet, it was disorganized, all that stuff. These are words that can definitely discourage the speaker. So another way to rephrase it is to turn it around and say an area of improvement, one suggestion. So these are certain things that can help lessen the blow for the speakers and how they can improve, they can manage the feedback as well. So that's one. And the other thing I think is less obvious to avoid authoritative words. Now what I mean by this is I often hear from evaluators, oh, I think you should smile more, you must do this, you must do that, you should do this. And I think it's important to realize that we as evaluators, we're just giving an opinion on how we felt. We are really professionals. We do have certain knowledge, but this is not something that we do professionally. We have certain knowledge, we have experience from Toastmasters years, but at the end of the day, we are still giving an opinion that most probably will not be similar to other people. So it's really important to understand that what you are giving to the speaker is an opinion. So just try to rephrase it in a way that would dictate that it's something that you feel can help them. So instead of saying you should, say I would recommend, I would suggest. These are certain things that you can think about. The next point is a small one, but I think it goes to mention the use of buts and however. There's nothing wrong with saying but, however, especially transitioning positive comments to points of improvements, but it does change a certain tone where you're going, oh, I think it was really good, blah, 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 I really like your speech, but you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. So it's also change in tone, so you need to be careful. So sometimes you can transition a bit better, or you can take it away, or you can just watch your tone a bit when it happens to transition from positive comments to not so positive comments. So that's all I wanted to say about evaluation for now. There are actually more things that would benefit evaluators. What to evaluate, what not to evaluate, what value can you give, how to structure your evaluations. But I think a good start is to understand what kind of mindset we need to go into when it comes to evaluations and how to phrase them in a way that can benefit the speaker, in a way that they can process the information. You can learn all the other aspects, structure, the content, through experience, maybe even discussion of other times. But for now, it's a really good start to understand where you should be coming from. And with that, I'd like to pass it back to Shakir.